leg. He's got about 40 staples in his knee. He's at home recovering. He's going to be in a brace for about the next 12 weeks.
Yeah.
It's 2 different kinds of braces, one that keeps his leg locked, and then one where he can start to bend it.
66 degrees or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. That's when he'll be able to get back in the car. I saw Charlie posted something.
I think it's going to be a long procedure because the surgery itself, the pictures were just,
Well, he's talking about Vegas. Last I saw.
I'll tell you right now.
Optimistically looking at Vegas.
You can be optimistic as you want. That's not going to happen.
Well,
I'll tell you that right now. Maybe not my place to say it, but I'll tell you that's not going to happen because the kid's got a road of recovery ahead of him. But this wreck, you guys, it was seriously for Bricen to walk out of there with just his knee hurt, and the surgery. This is minor compared to what could have happened and even a greater possibility of should have happened. It's a good thing Bricen is young and strong and healthy because this is one of those wrecks that, I'm not kidding you, is it takes people away.
Yeah, so I didn't see any of the video. I know you had told me that you'd seen the video, but again, I'm always a positive. I look for positivity in it. So I'm, hopefully he has a great recovery. His talent will be back out there, but, it's past.
Yeah.
That's, and I looked, I started getting word from some of my friends at Cottage Grove that Bricen was involved in an accident down there minutes after it happened. And, we started group texting on Moxie, and it was like, okay, does anybody know anything about what's going on? Obviously, we're not going to share anything until we know 100% what we've got. And even now, up until you talked to Charlie yesterday, details were still sketch.
Well, none of us had actually talked to the family out of respect for the family and Bricen's recovery. I'm not going to text Charlie, hey, what happened?
Yeah.
Or, the family actually was a really bad day for them. Charlie's wife had gone through a surgical procedure earlier in the day. She gets home. She's resting. Later on that night, through social media, she finds out Bricen's been in a terrible wreck and he's leaving in an ambulance. Not a great day for the James family, but all in all, Bricen is okay. He's gonna recover, and he'll be back in the car.
Absolutely.
That is something we know. So Bricen, if you and your
talent.
family are listening to this, buddy, we're praying for you. We wish you the best, and we hope for a speedy recovery. And
yes, we do, all of us.
It's a horrible thing. It's going to cost him 2 championships, or at least a shot at 2 championships, because he was in the hunt. In the modifieds and late models, and that was something that I know Charlie was pretty disappointed about. He's like, man, we had a shot, and the way IMCA is set up, you can't put somebody else in your car to run your number.
But in the late model he can he not?
In the late model, you can have somebody drive your car to score points for you, or if you drive another, here's the rule.
Or you could drive somebody else's car with your number on it.
You have to be driving, though. See, that's the thing. No more of this, hey, I'm going out of town, can you run my number to score points? Those days are done.
Oh, that doesn't happen.
No. You either have to be in the car. If you borrow a car, it has to have your number on it, or it has to be somebody else in your car, so your car is at the track.
Right. So he could put Glacier in his car.
He could put anybody in there.
Right.
He could put you in the late model.
If he wants to win.
But look at this.
The bottom line is we're glad he's okay.
Right.
And the points are one thing, and life is another.
Right. The points don't matter.
We're just glad
championships, they're in the future.
Oh, he's got a great future,
and that's
regardless.
There's no doubt that what Dom
said.
said.
Shame it happened, but things happen.
And if you look at the points championship,
well, in the IMCA modifieds, he's
what do you do?
He's got 12. He's got 12 points on John Campos.
He's got a 12-point lead
in the
going
late model.
In the modifieds.
Oh, in the mods.
And now in the late model, he's sitting second.
Second, he's
by
12 points.
So how many points each weekend can you get?
40.
40.
For the models.
So
okay,
no.
Yes.
40 for the mods.
Okay, for the mods. Okay, we're talking 40.
I think it's like the maximum you can get like 54 in the late models.
Okay, so 40 points. He's going to lose 80 points over the next 2 weeks, right?
Right.
Possibly.
So where does that?
It's going to put him right around 5th, 6th, or 7th.
That depends. Are you going to see those guys? Because there's only 2 guys that could catch him. Well, 3 guys that 4. A couple guys that could catch him.
Yeah. So Charlie was looking at the points, and I had him laid out there on the desk, and he's going to finish right around 5th or 6th, somewhere in there. But
missing 2 races. That's still an accomplishment.
Right. And like Dom said, the championships for him are going to be there in the future.
Oh, heck
We know that. The kid's got talent. Like, championships are going to be there for Joey Tanner, and Tanner. They're going to be there for Weinbarger and the rest of these young kids coming
up. Oh, man. Yeah, what a group.
Yeah.
So how about the Chili Bowl now? Is he looking at being recuperated by then? Or?
They're talking about, I think that's probably the earliest, realistically.
When is that? January?
January.
Yeah.
I think that's realistically, if he just goes through all the physical therapy and
you know he's going to bust his butt on that.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
he's going to do everything he can to make it as quick as he can.
Right. Former high school athlete.
Yeah.
Killer pitcher on the baseball field. He knows what it takes. Hard work is not something he's afraid of. And
right.
I'm sure that kid will he'll do everything he can to get back as fast as he can.
You know he will.
But I think Chili Bowl is probably the earliest if he does it like the therapist will want him to anyway, I think it'll be Chili Bowl will probably be the earliest we see him. But regardless, just glad that we will see him. That's what matters most. You know, any race driver. It was a horrible wreck, guys. So just glad that he's doing all right, and we'd see him back in a car soon.
I to be honest with you, I would love to see the video just to see what happened, because I got a visual in my head from the way you explained it, and you saw it. But that still isn't. I would like to see it. I'm not. Right. I don't dwell on people getting hurt or the cars tore up. I just want to see what happened. Right. I would love to see it.
I'd like to see that Heim joint.
Yeah, because it ripped the ball out of the Heim. The Heim was still
That was on the left front, you said?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of force on that left front.
The sprint cars, the technology on those cars really...
Was it on one of the torsion bars, or was it
It's on the left. It controls the steering.
The tie rod.
Comes off the...
Typically, don't they run a large washer around that to keep it in case that ball come up? We used to do that on hot
rods. I don't know sprint cars.
Yeah. Talking to the wrong guy
that's here nor there. Yeah.
But it ripped the ball out of the Heim, and the bolt was still in it, and the ball was out of the Heim, and it just turned the car just to the right and just launched him airborne.
Well, it let that tire just do what it wanted.
Yeah.
And you're already steering to the right.
Exactly.
You can't do that. You can't let that happen in a sprint car.
No.
It's not like a modified or late model or a Brian Kronk street stock where you can just pack the left front around all day long and it doesn't matter. You have to, in a sprint car, all four wheels or all four tires have contact.
When you look at sprint cars, they drive off the left rear anyway, so that weight's planted to that corner, whereas the late model and stock cars are typically planted the other way.
Right.
Well, it's all about the suspension systems and how they load.
Right. But this thing launched him, and you guys, he was airborne. I mean, he was up. He was up there, and it was. I don't ever care to see it again. Honestly, I saw it once. That was enough for me. And if you want to talk to Charlie, he's got it on his phone. And
well, there's been a lot of offers to help if there's anybody. Everybody's offering to help. I'll say it out loud. I'm sure any one of us here at Moxie Media, if Charlie or Bricen or that family needs anything at all, any way we can help out, we're down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let us know, because
no doubt about it.
We're all a big family.
That's right.
Even if you beat up on me out in the shop, I'm still a part of the family.
Let's get started.
We'll beat up on you right here.
On the air.
We'll do some verbal kung fu on you.
Oh, that was very funny.
Oh, man. See, Dom's still kind of going, man.
Yeah,
these guys
tough crowd. Tough crowd.
This, but, I'm just following everybody's lead. Everything's going okay.
There is no lead.
So, there's no. Jump in anytime you want, Dom. Let's talk about that, because the last couple of weeks, the last couple shows is this kind of a, you're the new addition. And what we've actually talked at Jetstream, he stopped in and we talked about, the show and what his thoughts and feelings were, and his eyebrows kind of raised a little bit and said, man, you guys are a fun group.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun, and this is really a neat thing for me. It's I've done this in the past, things similar, but it's getting used to different people, different situations. And last week we didn't have Warren, so it was a smaller group of us.
Right.
But as we all converse and joke and kid around and get some knowledge together and get a plan together, everything's working out really good.
Well, it is. It
is.
Wait,
hang on. Did he say plan?
Plan.
Yes.
I took notes.
He did. He really did.
Whoa, hang on. We got ourselves an organized person.
We do. We do.
Like the messiest person you'll ever meet. I'm pretty organized. My job consists of organization.
Right. He does well. So we're actually going
to... Grandpa's awake from his nap.
So... that was good. He actually looked like Grandpa waking up from his nap. Oh, man. So I want to tell you guys something that
tell us.
Dom brought. I'm trying. So Dom brought this idea to me, and he says, "Hey, what do you think about it?" He was in a bookstore, and
this is going to be good.
So it is. Warren, by your right elbow, I want you to take a look at that book right there.
It actually seemed really unusual at the time, but I was in Powell's in downtown Portland. I found this. I go through all the books, and I was looking for dirt track, short track books, and I ran across this one called Speed Secrets 2. Thinking,
right.
It has a Formula 1 cut on the cover, and I'm like, But I went through it. It is such a neat read because it doesn't look at it from the perspective of the car. It looks at it from the perspective of the driver and how they can do things to improve themselves, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. It's a really neat book.
So he sent me he took some pictures from the book and sent them to me. And I kind of read a couple pages like, this is a great. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually do a
Speed Secrets for Dummies.
Right. Well, something like that. But it's not the concept is not dealing with the car. It's dealing with the driver's mind and
things like slow down to go fast.
All kinds of cool stuff that he sent me in here. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to make a segment on the show kind of talking about Speed Secrets, not dealing with the car. We'll talk about drivers and what they do to mentally prepare and how to make your team better through your driver or through your crew chief and some of the habits.
It has everything about crews, how to get the crew to do things for you without being a jerk.
Well, and that was one of the things I read was it says this was kind of funny because I've heard Warren say this about me and I kind of I don't know how he means that. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? But he says, man,
Corey is a master manipulator.
And that's what it says in this book. To be successful, you have to be one. Look, it says it.
But do it without making them, without upsetting them.
Yeah,
look how it's worded.
I just flipped to a page right here, and this won't make much sense on the surface, but it's something I've said for years. Marketing skills are every bit as important to your career.
Listen to you guys toot your own horns.
That's what I really found interesting about it. I've only read through the first chapter so far.
Well, there's a pie chart on here, and it breaks it down. And the funny thing about it was when we see a pie chart, we see one segment that's 73%, one's 13, one's 22. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm just looking for the ice cream that goes with the pie.
So, here's the thing.
It's peanut butter for the jelly.
This pie chart, it breaks it down, and everything is even. Marketing skills, driving skills.
That can't be accurate then.
I mean, it's a pretty cool deal.
Even in there it says, everybody assumes the guy with the most money is going to be the fastest and always win. No.
Well, it's not true.
It's kind of like the internet. Just because it's in a book doesn't make it
No, but
fact.
see, but this is
it's good. It would be good.
It's a positive reinforcement to what you're doing.
Right. And so I think what we'll do is over the next couple of weeks, we'll take time out of this book and talk about the driver. Let's talk about what makes the team successful through the driver. It's kind of a cool deal. We'll print
Maybe
off
we
some
can
copies.
even interview a couple drivers to see what their perspective is on what we have to say on it.
And
Maybe we can get the author to call in.
Well, here's the.
I think it's French or something.
Yeah, definitely, it's an F1 author. But here's the thing:
Ross Bentley.
Some of the stuff. He's from Alabama. Saw an F1 race, decided to write a book.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though, and I got to from my personal experience. I just read a few things in this book, and it starts talking about Michael Schumacher and how he prepares his mind and his body and his team for an F1 race, and it reminded me so much of the time I spent with Bob Jeffrey working on his cars. Bob Jeffrey is one of those guys mentally is just. He's kind of, I want to say, in his own, here's the group, and he's off to the side doing his own thing.
His own entity, yeah.
It is so different than what everybody else does. And any other race driver that I've worked with, and I've worked with a bunch of them, he was truly the one guy off doing his own thing, preparing his own way. I learned a lot from a different perspective.
Sure.
We did the same things.
You know the old cliche, there's a million ways to skin a cat?
Right. But it was interesting to read some of this stuff because it reminded me of those days that I spent in the shop working on Bob's car and at the track with Bob and certain things that were so different. And I think that it was an interesting perspective to talk about drivers.
It just hit Joel. Kitty?
To talk about drivers. And I want to do a segment on maybe a couple drivers each week or a driver each week on how they prepare and what things they do, because race drivers are very interesting people.
Most of them won't share that information.
Most of them won't share what's going on in the car. They'll hide everything in the car, but when they start talking, they talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'd love to get it.
When you manipulate them.
Well,
Warren.
Warren, and that was one thing I read in that book that immediately took me to Warren, because he always says, man, I have never seen anybody like Corey that's able to get somebody to do something.
Another old cliche. You could sell ice to an Eskimo.